All right, so good morning once again. Welcome back everyone to our Learning Systems Reform Policies Orientation for Teachers. I am Denmark Pialayan from DepEd Central Office, Bureau of Learning Delivery. Pero bago tayo magsimula sa ating next session, ipakita muna natin sa screen ngayon yung mga action shots ng ating mga teachers from Region 2, Cagayan Valley, Region 3, Central Luzon, Region 9, Zamboanga Peninsula, and Region 11, Davao Occidental, and Davao del Norte Schools Divisions na sinend sa ating Viber community. So let's start first with Region 2. So sa Region 2, Cagayan Valley, ayan, so ipakita po natin yung first slide. Sa Region 2, Cagayan Valley, we can see in the pictures no, that teachers are listening actively in their respective schools. So shout out sa inyo dyan, Region 2 teachers, mga Ilocano, maraming salamat for joining us here in DepEd Philippines YouTube live stream. And of course, sa Region 3, Central Luzon, nakikita natin sa pictures, next slide, na may mga teachers tayong nakatutok sa ating live stream talaga, no? So may setup pa talaga sila dyan. So meron din, nakita ko kanina, sina moms and sirs, naka-raise yung hands. Doon, yan. So mukhang may pa-activity yung school-based facilitators natin while we were offline kanina. So shout out sa inyo dyan, Region 3 teachers. And then may mga nakita din ako kaninang teachers nag-post ng kanilang My Day na nasa bahay sila, still joining our orientation via YouTube live stream. Maraming salamat Region 3 teachers for joining us. Moving forward tayo sa ating Region 9, Zamboanga Peninsula pictures. Ayan, so nakikita natin currently sa ating screen yung mga teachers. Currently, they are at their school quadrangle, yung iba sa mga function hall ng school nila. And they are all wearing their smiles. Mukhang na-miss nila yung isa't isa, no? So shout out sa inyo dyan, Region 9 teachers. Maraming salamat for joining us. And finally, sa Region 11, meron tayong dalawang schools divisions. Nakasama dito yung teachers natin from Schools Division Office of Davao Occidental and Davao del Norte. Salamat for working on your self-paced activities. Makikita natin dito sa pictures na ina-accomplish nila yung probably yung starting strong na activity. So good luck. Shout out sa inyo dyan, Region 11, Davao Occidental and Davao del Norte teachers. And maraming salamat also for joining us. So nakita natin sa mga pictures na sinend sa ating Viber community, ramdam natin yung engagement at focus ng ating mga teachers para ma-immerse talaga sa ating orientation ng ating reform policies. So once again, shout out sa ating mga teachers mula sa 4 na regions joining us today. So, dear teachers, keep listening actively, collaborating with one another, with your peers, with your colleagues, or even with your small groups, and engaging through our chat box sa ating YouTube live stream. Okay, so just a quick recap muna tayo. Kanina, offline, no, during the sessions, no, a while ago, we listened to the overview of the learning systems reform policies and work on the brain dump facilitated by Director Maggie Del Valle Ramoso. Yung brain dump kanina, yung quick notes, right? And likewise, for 1.5 hours, we were oriented and we were also given time to work on our self-paced activity facilitated by Chief Rosalie Bongon. So, ang question now is, nabasa nyo ba yung mga policy briefers, yung budget of work, yung checklist, at syempre, na-accomplish nyo ba yung activity sheet natin na starting strong? So, I hope so. Pero kung hindi pa kayo tapos, okay lang yan. You can still continue accomplishing them throughout the day. All right. So at this point, we now move into our deep dives. Let's start with a quick check for understanding. Yes, this is some sort of recall exercise. But mind you, teachers, hindi po ito exam and it's not graded. We simply want to get a sense of what's clear and where we might need a bit more clarification in terms of the reform policies na pinabasa sa inyo kanina. And of course, diniscuss no, yung overview kanina ni Director Maggie. But don't you worry, dear teachers, kasi yung detailed discussions of these policies will be conducted in the succeeding sessions. And don't you worry also if you get something wrong, pag mali yung sagot nyo sa ating quiz, sa ating Mentimeter quiz, that's perfectly okay. Bakit? Kasi this is a safe space to learn and it's much better to catch and correct any misconceptions here. Okay, don't you worry kasi for each of the item ng ating Mentimeter quiz, there will be corresponding explanations. Alright? Para ma-shed light yung mga misnomers at ma-clarify yung mga informations regarding our reform policies. So we will check your understanding through the Mentimeter quiz. kindly go to this link flashed on your screen. So kindly go kindly go to the mentimeter.com, that is menti.com, and please encode the code 781802271. Please do not forget to write or to encode your full name and your corresponding or your respective school's division office. Okay? For example, Juan de la Cruz underscore SDO Zamboanga. Okay? So wag lang po yung name ang ilalagay nyo dyan. Right? So I'll give you 3 minutes to be on board sa ating Mentimeter platform. So please connect to join the Mentimeter quiz. You can also scan the QR code flashed on your screen. Okay? So once again, go to menti.com and encode the link 781802271, and please provide your full name and your school's division office. Okay? So currently po, meron na tayong 5,000 teachers, 6,000 teachers on board sa ating platform, sa ating Mentimeter. Ayan. So, 7,000 teachers are already on board. 8,000. Right? So, one more minute. 9,000 teachers are already here sa platform. So probably, no, teachers, you might be wondering ano kaya yung mga questions na itatanong. So kung nabasa nyo kanina yung mga policy briefers, okay, for sure masasagot nyo yung mga questions na ipa-flash natin mamaya dito sa Mentimeter platform. Okay, madali lang yun, kayang-kaya nyong sagutin. You can also collaborate, no, with your peers, no, pwedeng isang Mentimeter pwedeng isang cellphone lang ang gamitin nyo, and then you can collaborate, no? You can form a small group so that you can answer collaboratively dun sa mga questions na ipa-flash mamaya. So pwede rin by pair, so hanap kayo ng partner, or pwede rin small group, 5 to 6 members, pwede rin pong ganun. No? So it's up to you, the decision is yours. Okay? So mas maganda nga na collaborative yung pagsagot natin dito sa ating Mentimeter quiz. Okay? So can we now start? Are you now ready for our first question? So quiz rules po tayo, multiple choice yung ating mga questions. There are 4 options to choose from, and you will be given 30 seconds to respond. Faster answers, score more points. So pabilisan po ito. You can answer individually, pwede rin po pair or a small group as I mentioned a while back. And most points wins the quiz. So again po, reminder, dapat nilagay nyo inyong pangalan and yung inyong school's division office so that you will be properly recognized sa ating leaderboard later on pagtapos na tayo sa ating Mentimeter quiz. Okay? So are you teachers ready for our first Mentimeter question? So let's proceed. Our first question. Ano kaya yung first question natin? Is it about what policy? What policy kaya ito? So, 3-term school calendar. Under the new 3-term school calendar, which block is specifically dedicated to learner readiness, baseline assessments, and building routines? Is it remediation block, opening block, end of term block, or instructional block? You're given 30 seconds to respond. So, alin kaya dito ang tamang sagot? So, ano yung block dedicated for learner readiness, baseline assessments, building routines? All right, so the correct answer is, ano kaya ang tamang sagot? Time is up. So the correct answer is, okay, what's the correct answer? So 1,548, no? Alright, sige po, medyo nagkaroon lang ng technical problem, no? Sige po, this will be refreshed. Okay? By our team. So ano po ba ang guess nyo? Sige nga po, paki-type po sa ating YouTube live stream. Ano ang sagot ninyo? So I can see here answers, no? Opening block ang sabi nyo. All right. Opening block po ba? Alright, so the correct answer is, sino nagsagot ng remediation block or enrichment block? Okay, so the correct answer is opening block. So nakita natin dito 1,299 participants got it correct. Pero may nagsagot pa rin ng remediation block, end of term block, or instructional block. So bakit po opening block yung tamang sagot? So next slide. The opening block is the initial phase of the term 1 designed to establish learner readiness and generate baseline data. It is specifically dedicated to beginning of school year activities including learner and parents orientation. Okay? So kailan po ba mangyayari itong opening block? So this is the first week of the term and this will happen on June 8 to 11. Okay? Opening block is designed to be 5 days but for this school year 2026-2027, 4 days lang po ang ating opening block, June 8 to 11 because June 12 is declared holiday. Alright? So ano yung gagawin dyan, nyo, teachers, no? So you can have the learner and parent orientations. This is also the block where you will conduct, where the school will conduct mandatory health assessment. So ito ginagawa yung general physical examination ng ating mga bata, yung nutritional assessment, yung pagkuha ng height, weight, BMI nila, yung vision, hearing screening, oral health, and immunization ng ating mga learners. Okay? Dito rin gagawin yung administration of beginning of school year literacy and numeracy assessments such as yung CARLA, yung Comprehensive Rapid Literacy Assessment, yung Rapid Mathematics Assessment o yung RMA, and of course yung Philippine Informal Reading Inventory o yung kilala natin na PhilERI among others. At dito rin gagawin yung gathering and submission of data needed for the school year. Gagawin nyo yan within June 8 to 11. And of course, the establishment of classroom routines and co-creation of rules para magkaroon ng habit formation yung ating mga bata. No? So, for example, yung pagpasa ng papers from the back seat to the front seat. So, yung mga ganong routines, yung mga house rules, na isa-set yung teachers, all of this will have to be established during the opening block. And for this school year, gaya na sinabi ko, we will have 4-day opening block from June 8 to 11. Okay, next. Alright, so kita po natin dito yung opening block, instructional block, and end of term block. So again, opening block is beginning of the school year activities. Okay, moving forward to the next slide. Next question. Ano kaya yung next question natin? Regarding lesson planning, which of the following is true under the new policy? Is it schools and divisions can require additional templates? Teachers must use multiple varying formats for different subjects. No additional templates beyond the single streamline format are allowed, or planning is primarily for documentation and compliance purposes. What is your answer? 15 seconds left. Okay, so time is up. The correct answer is, all right, no additional templates beyond the single streamline format allowed. Okay, so kanina sa presentation, yung daily lesson log, detailed lesson plan, and any other additional templates or forms for instructional planning, hindi na po required starting school year 2026-2027. Yung discussion nito po, no, later po, i-deepen later sa ating succeeding session. And the policy explicitly says schools, divisions, and regions shall not require additional lesson plan templates, add-on forms, or documentation beyond the prescribed form. Okay, so we will follow the ELAW framework, intentions, learning experiences, assessment, and ways forward. All right? So sino po yung nakakuha ng tamang sagot? Let's now move forward to question number 3. Marami rin kayang makakakuha ng tamang sagot here. So what is our question? In the strengthened senior high school curriculum, how many core subjects will learners take? Is it 5, 6, 10, or 15? Okay, ano ang sagot niyo, teachers? Okay, so 5 seconds left. All right, so time is up. The correct answer is 5. Okay, bakit po 5? So next slide. Under the strengthened senior high school curriculum, the number of core subjects has been streamlined from 15 and now down to 5. And these mandatory subjects are effective communication or mabisang komunikasyon, general mathematics, general science, life and career skills, pag-aaral ng kasaysayan at lipunang Pilipino. This reduction allows learners to focus more deeply on fundamental skills and provides greater flexibility for elective subjects aligned with their chosen career pathways. All of 5 core subjects are completed during grade 11. And we would also like to reiterate po that effective communication and mabisang komunikasyon now count as 1 subject. So again, from 15 down to 5 subjects under strengthened senior high school. Moving forward to question number 4. About sang policy kaya ito, no? So what is the specific weight assigned to performance tasks in the grading of English, Science, and Mathematics for key stages 2 to 4? Is it 20%, 30%, 50%, or 70%? What is your answer, dear teachers? Okay, 15 seconds left. So may nakikita ko na may sumasagot sa ating YouTube live stream. May sumasagot ng 20, merong 30, merong 50. Meron din sumagot ng 70. But the correct answer is 50%. And 1,044 teachers got it correct. Okay, pero may nagsagot pa rin ng other responses. Bakit po 50%? Under the revised grading system for key stages 2 to 4, performance tasks or PTs carried the highest weight at 50% in core subjects such as English, Science, and Mathematics. This shift underscores performance tasks as the primary evidence of learners' understanding and higher order thinking skills compared to written works, which has 20%, and term examinations, which has 30%. Okay? So makikita po natin yan once the classroom assessment policy is released. Okay, question number 5. So last 3 questions. About saan kaya itong policy na to? So question number 5. Okay, kindly show the next question. So question number 5. In the Education in Emergencies or EIE framework, which level requires academic learning to still be structured yet be intentionally slowed down? Is it hayo, hinay, hinga, or hinto? Okay, so 18 seconds left. Ano po ang sagot nyo? So meron pa rin sumasagot no, sa ating YouTube live stream. So keep your responses coming. Ayan, so ang dami rin sumasagot sa ating YouTube. Okay, 5 seconds left. Okay, so the correct answer is hinay, right? So 1,269 participants got it correct. The hinay or he is in level is triggered by minor to moderate disruptions. During this phase, academic learning can still continue structured learnings like modules, synchronous classes, but the phase is intentionally slowed down to manage stress. Okay, so there are 4 levels of learning continuity in EIE. And under this new policy, schools can decide response level based on safety, capacity, and well-being. So meron tayo ditong hinto or stop, hinga or check-in, hinay or is in, hayo or continue. At yung correct answer natin kanina is hinay or is in. All right? Moving forward to our next question. Question number 6. Which is an example of good formative assessment practice? Low-stakes quizzes as bonus points for term exams, assigning grades without feedback, easy tasks that culminate with a final project, checking understanding during the lesson, and adjusting teaching. What is your answer, dear teachers? 15 seconds left. Yan, so may mga sumasagot po sa ating live stream. Sige, dahil sobrang haba, pwede pong A, B, C, D. Yung mga nasa live stream po. Alright, so time is up. The correct answer is checking understanding during the lesson and adjusting teaching. 1,192 teachers got the correct answer. Okay? We know that checking understanding during the lesson means actively finding out if learners are following the discussion while teaching is taking place. And this can be done through questions, quick activities, or short tasks. And based on learners' responses, the teacher then adjusts instruction. So you as teachers, you can clarify concepts, you can give additional examples, or you can change or modify your strategies to better support learning so that you'll be able to ensure that misconceptions are addressed immediately and that all learners stay on track. Okay? So aside from eliciting student responses, either through quizzes or other tasks, good formative assessment practice involves shifting the teaching practice as a response to the evidence of learning. Okay? So congratulations po sa mga nakakuha ng tamang sagot. Moving forward to our question number 7. And it's about saan kaya to? What is the role of the learning design principles in lesson planning? To replace the curriculum, to guide instructional design decisions, to monitor teachers, to standardize all lessons. Is it A, B, C, or D? 15 seconds left. Okay, 5 seconds left. Okay, so the correct answer is to guide instructional design decisions. 1,165 teachers got the correct answer. Nobody answered to replace the curriculum, but 2 answered to monitor teachers. Meron tayong 188 teachers na nagsabi na to standardize all lessons daw. Okay? So what is the role of the learning design principles? No, the learning design principles are criteria for what good learning learning and teacher looks like. So learning design principles guide teachers in making effective lesson planning decisions. They help determine what to teach, how to teach it, and how to assess learning, ensuring that lessons are aligned, engaging, and responsive to learners' needs. At makikita natin dito, flash on our screen, yung iba't ibang learning design principles. No? So meron tayong clear goals and teaching, scaffolding, checks for understanding, active retrieval and spacing, self-awareness and metacognition, social learning, values and purpose integration, and inclusion. Okay? So congratulations po sa ating mga teachers na nakakuha ng tamang sagot. We are now down to our last question, question number 8. In the three-term school calendar, what is the end-of-term block primarily used for? Enrollment, orientations, vacations, mandatory 160 hours of instruction, national level competitions only, grade computation, wellness breaks, professional development. What is your answer? Last 15 seconds rather. Okay. 5 seconds left. Okay, so the correct answer is grade computation, wellness breaks, professional development. 1,268 teachers got it correct. Pero meron pa rin nagsagot ng other options, no? So later, makaklarify ulit sa discussion, sa succeeding session, what this end-of-term block is for, and what are the activities that we can conduct under this particular block. Kanina diniscuss ni Direct Maggie na yung end of term block for term 1, September 2 to 15, for term 2, December 7 to 18, at term 3, March 24 to April 8. Makikita natin ito sa Annex B ng DepEd Order 9 Series of 2026. So dear teachers, basahin at unawain natin ang policy na ito for guidance. Okay? So the end of term block is a 2-week period at the conclusion of each term dedicated to administrative and developmental tasks. Its primary uses include grade computation, remediation, co-curricular activities, professional development or inset, and a protected wellness break both for learners and teachers. Okay? So moment of truth tayo, dear teachers, check na natin ang leaderboard, sino kaya ang champion or top 1 natin? At saang division ba siya or saang region? Okay, so congratulations, Ma'am Joselle Laz. with 7,689 points. So once again, congratulations, Ma'am Josel. Saang division ka ba or region? Please pakitype po sa ating YouTube live stream. Pakitype po sa ating chat box. So congratulations. And congratulations to all our teachers na nag-participate sa ating Mentimeter quiz. We hope that this made things a bit clearer, and we hope that you realize that you already know enough about these reform policies na ating learning systems. Now, let's anchor everything to your role as teachers. Moving forward to another informative discussion to present the session on designing for learning, formative assessment, education in emergencies, and artificial intelligence in teaching and assessment, may I invite to our virtual floor the Director 4 of the Bureau of Learning Delivery, Director Gerson Marvin M. Abisabis. Director Gerson.
Hello! Hi Denmark, thank you. Hello po mga teachers, maraming salamat po. Nakakatuwa na nakikita natin na mas lumilinaw na po yung mga policies natin. Kanina pong umaga, nilahad ni Director Maggie yung iba-ibang mga policies natin from 3-term calendar, lesson planning, assessment, flexible learning program, EIE, senior high school, and work immersion. Napakadami po nila. And so, ngayon po medyo mas, sana po by this time, nakikita na natin yung interconnections nilang lahat. Kung paano sila magkakatugma, paano sila nagtutulungan para talaga mapaayos ang sistema natin sa ating pagtuturo. Ngayon naman, let's dive deep into how it will have implications on our teaching and learning. Ano bang magiging epekto nito sa ating pagtuturo at ano magiging epekto nito sa ating learners, sa ating classrooms, sa ating mga learning experiences na ating dinedeliver kada araw. So, I want to start by maybe asking us to reflect on what is our siguro definition or how do we define what good teaching and learning looks like. Kasi ito naman talaga yung anchor ng lahat ng policies na to. Itong mga policies na to, kapag na-implement po sila ng tama at ng appropriate, they enable good teaching and learning. But what does good teaching and learning look like? So I'd invite you to maybe pause for a bit. Pwede natin itong gamitin para mag-reflect. I'd invite you to think about maybe an effective teacher. Maybe someone, your own teacher, or someone that you've worked with, or someone that you're currently working with. And just to define, to describe them, anong ginagawa nila? What does a good teacher, effective teacher look like? If you're together in your watch parties, maybe I'll give you a minute just to turn to your neighbor at pwede nyo po siyang pagkwentuhan, ano ang ginagawa ng mga effective teachers. And then, kung kayo po ay nanonood sa live stream natin with your laptops or your devices, please also use the comment section and I'll read out some comments from our comment section. And again, parang just to put it back into practice, ano ang ginagawa ng mga effective teachers? Babasa tayo dito. Ayun, may isa. Make conflict ways into simple one. Okay, so simplicity. Not just teaching with knowledge, but teaching with heart. Yeah, so kasama yung passion at kasama yung pagbibigay saysay. Yeah, nagre-reflect. Yeah. Alright, and totoo rin po ito, kahit po gaano kagaling at kaganda yung teacher, kapag yung environment po niya, hindi kompleto ang resources, ang materials, ang classrooms, etc. So napakahalaga rin ng kabuuan ng ating learning experience also. Makes it fun, makes it engaging, helps students learn, inspires students to do their best. Ayan. So makita natin iba-iba ang ating mga definitions, ano po. And if we listen carefully and if we really go deep into what effective teaching and learning looks like, usually ang dumadating dito yung pagiging malinaw, pagiging passionate ni teacher, pagiging effective, kung paano niya kayang mag-guide ng mga learners step by step, how they're able to check kung natututo nga ba ang ating mga bata, and also how to maximize the resources that's available, right? So ito kung lalagyan natin siya ng main essence, ito talaga ay malasakit and care. And I think that's one of the things why we do what we do as educators, as teachers, tayo po sa DepEd, dahil meron po talaga tayong care for our learners and malasakit para sa kanilang mga kinabukasan. And I think when we translate this into policy, and when we look at all of these, ang goal talaga natin ay ma-enable ang good teaching and learning. Kami po sa DepEd Central, when we were analyzing, of course, what's happening on the ground, all the practices, wonderful practices, whenever we visit schools and interview teachers, and also looking at the evidence scan also, alam po natin through research, marami na po tayong natututuhan kung paano nga ba pinaka-effective na natututo ang ating mga learners. And so we came up with a set of design principles. These design principles are an integration of all of the, again, evidence, practice, and also the multiple frameworks that we have in DepEd. We have the instructional design framework, we have the different shaping papers of our curricula, we also have different pedagogical approaches, yung mga every year po siguro meron tayong bago, in inquiry-based learning, project-based learning, brain-based learning, all of these different movements, or sometimes we call them buzzwords. Pero kung tingnan po natin silang lahat, drive down to the essence of what makes good teaching, it's usually these 8. So ito po ang pinapresent natin in our lesson planning policy, and this is also the anchor of some other policies as well, of what makes good teaching and learning. Una po muna, kailangan malinaw, clear goals and teaching. If we're not clear with our instruction, if we're not clear with our content and our learning experiences, then learners will not understand. And that's a very base level of what effective teaching looks like. Scaffolding is also important. I'm sure as educators, we know this already. But just to recap, it's essentially how we can create multiple ways to ensure that learners learn how to become independent eventually. So whether magbibigay tayo ng mga easy tasks sa simula or mga guidance, and then eventually we release those guides so that learners can eventually do it themselves. They're building their confidence and they're building their competencies. Checks for understanding is also important, pangatlong design principle. Ginawa po natin kanina kasama si Denmark, at I'm sure ginagawa nyo rin po ito sa ating mga klase. Sometimes you call it formative assessment, sometimes you call it checkpoint, sometimes you call it different ways, but it's essentially how do we ensure that during the lesson itself, we are gathering evidence and knowing for ourselves na talagang engaged at natututo ang ating mga learners. Fourth is active retrieval and spacing. This is essentially how you can design not just one lesson, but multiple lessons throughout maybe your term, or throughout a week, or throughout a period of time. And then you space out the content and the materials in such a way that there's active recall moments. Kumbaga, at a clear example po nito, kung nagturo kayo ng topic on week 1, and then let's say you assessed them already. Pagdating sa week 2 and week 3, you still ask some questions to recall that. Our brains, we know this through neuroscience, that our brains, if we don't actively use knowledge, if we don't actively recall knowledge, learners will forget them. Napakalaki po. So, active retrieval and spacing is very critical to ensure retention of the learning that we're providing in our lessons. Panglima po, self-awareness and metacognition. It's whether helping learners learn how to become better learners, whether through better learning habits, or helping them understand how their brains work, how they learn, what are their usual modes that are most effective for them, so that way they can describe and they know how they actually think. Napakahalaga po nitong a practice na to, and in practice this looks like maybe journaling. Maybe you might ask learners to reflect. Maybe you might want to ask learners if they have an output to tell you about how they came up with a solution. Share with them, share their process with you. Marami pong mga paraan to para ma-practice at maging habit ang self-awareness at metacognition. Pang-anim po, social learning. At nakakatuwa po dito, Regions 2, 3, 9, and 11, magkakasama po tayo. At kayo rin po baka sa inyong mga watch parties or sa mga watch sessions or even virtually as well. It's important that we learn with others. It's an opportunity for learners to exchange ideas and perspectives. Nakikita nila kung paano naiintindihan ng kapwa classmate nila, or ano yung differences and similarities ng kanilang mga mental models pagdating sa mga lessons natin. Pang-anim, values and purpose integration. This is a design principle that helps learners understand the value or yung saysay at halaga ng kanilang natututuhan. If they don't see the value of what they're learning, the content, bakit mahalaga ang math, bakit mahalaga ang araling panlipunan, bakit ko to inaaral, kung hindi nila nakikita ang sarili nila at hindi nila nakikita na mahalaga ito para sa kanilang pangarap or sa kanilang buhay or sa kanilang real life situations, na hindi po siya magiging effective as a learning experience. Yeah. And lastly, inclusion. I think it's very important for us to consider to be mindful that when we say inclusion, it's even if we don't have learners who have disabilities or who have special needs in our classes, there are many barriers that learners still face, whether it's language, whether it's competency, whether it's access to technology, motivation. Marami pa rin pong barriers, and there are still different ways that a learner can still be excluded in our lessons. So it's very important also for us to consider inclusion as a core principle, so that way we could provide multiple means that our learners can express themselves, or different ways of learners to engage with the content and our lessons. Ito po ang learning design principles, and maybe siguro for a quick check ngayon, I'm just curious, on a scale of 1 to 5, how often do you actually see these in your lessons? Maybe type it in the chat or in our comment section sa YouTube Live. We're just curious. This is not by any means a reflection of how good or bad of a teacher you are, but it's essentially, a quick reflection of how our lesson designs or our learning designs are currently. Yeah. Let's see the chat. Ayun, may mga 3, may mga 5, may mga 2 and 4. Yeah. Usually po itong design principles, they're also designed to be intuitive, meaning hindi po dapat sila pakiramdam na bago. These are parang, common sense, dapat nga ginagawa natin to. Yes, I already do this. Because these design principles are also based on best practices from the field. These are things that we've seen from effective teachers, especially in our context in the Philippines. And I think this is just a way for us to have a shared language. Ang ganda po eventually kapag ma-imagine natin, kaysa sabihin natin, ay, ang galing ni teacher kasi mahusay siya. Or ay, idol ko tong teacher na to kasi nakakatuwa siya. Minsan it's hard to describe, but maybe, we could use these principles to say, uy, teacher, gusto ko po ang pagiging malinaw nyo kapag kayo ay nag-explain. Or teacher, I really appreciate or I admire how you design lessons that really include everyone. Diba? So napakahalaga ng shared language for all of us dahil rin po sa lesson planning policy. We want to champion and we want to encourage collaborative lesson planning. Gone are the days where lesson planning is just a single output for a single teacher, and it's just, required tayo lahat ng isa-isa lang. There are many opportunities for us to collaborate as, teachers together, and then you could, use these principles to have a shared criteria also and a shared definition of what good teaching and learning looks like. Magpapakita lang kami quickly ng mga references. Ano bang itsura nito in practice? At kami po sa BLD, we created some teaching strategies na akma sa ating mga DepEd classrooms. I'll share a couple. Sige, maybe I'll share 2 or 3. Ito pong isa, what does clear teaching look like? Ito, meron kaming ginawa ng mga cards na naka-ankla rin po sa bawat key stage. So, an example is explicit instruction. Alam niyo po siguro ito. I do, we do, you do. It's a very classic pattern of providing clarity and demonstrating a skill, demonstrating a concept. These cards are subject agnostic, meaning pwede po silang magamit ng iba-ibang mga learning areas, and nakatag rin po siya sa design principle at sa key stage para po matulungan. Yeah. There are also tips for how to integrate technology as well. Maybe we could show 2 more. Yan. Spaced review, ito yung nabanggit ko po kanina sa active retrieval and spacing. Kapag tayo po siguro ay gagawa ng mga quiz or tayo ay gagawa ng mga assessments, we could not just focus on a single unit, but we could use that as an opportunity for learners to actively retrieve a lesson from maybe a previous week or 2 weeks ago. Napakahalaga again, ensuring that our learners' brains are being stimulated in such a way that they will make better connections with different pieces of content. Kasi yun po ang halaga ng ating curriculum na nagkakaroon ng connections o magandang daloy from one competency to the other, one content standard to the next content standard. Yeah. Maybe one last card that we'd like to show. The worked example, ito scaffolding. Usually sa math po ito, pero minsan nagagawa rin po siya sa ibang subject areas where you show a problem that's already solved, but you show the steps and the thinking. Annotated po siya, the thinking behind each step. Ano yung mga step-by-step na ginagawa niya. This demonstrates, one way to solve a solution, and then you ask the learners to try it without the guidance afterwards. So again, that's an example of scaffolding where you have a problem or a task with some guidance, and then eventually i-release nyo po yung guidance na yon so that our learners can practice more independent learning. Kaya po namin ito ginawa in accordance with the lesson planning policy as well, dahil kung gusto po nating pagaanin ang lesson planning, when we were asking teachers, ito rin po yung madalas na ask nila na pwede bang gumawa ng ready-made lesson plans, pwede bang gumawa ng ready-made, general lesson plans po para sa lahat. Although meron po tayong mga initiatives that gumagawa po tayo ng inventory ng mga lesson exemplars or gumagawa tayo ng inventory ng iba-ibang mga lesson guides or lesson plans, eventually ang kailangan po talaga natin ay ma-practice bilang teachers ang ating galing sa pagdidisenyo ng lessons, na kaya nating kumuha ng different pieces, itong activity na to, and then pagsasamahin natin sila. So the way we dream of how these cards are used, you can use them as building blocks of how you design a lesson. Pwede nyo po silang pagdikit-dikit or pagdugtong-dugtungin. Maybe we could show that slide. The one with a black background. Ayan, may kita nyo marami pa. Ayan. So you could imagine this as like a set of strategies that you could constantly use in your lesson plans. That way, sana po mapagaan ang lesson planning rin nito. Masuportahan tayo kapag tayo ay bumubuo ng mga lesson plans, ay meron tayong meron tayong starting points na at pwede nyo po siyang gamitin in terms of aligning with the learning design principles and also with your key stages as well. Where to download it? Maybe you could go one slide before. And I think this is also linked in our microsite as well. Balik po tayo ng one slide, please. Ayan. This is the link. It's a work in progress also, so expect that there will be more to come out soon. This is not for sale. This is free. This is something that you could use as reference material. And ito nga rin po yung madalas naming naririnig na tanong when we talk about the lesson planning reform. Pwede pa rin po ba gamitin ang mga for sale or ganun? Yun po actually ang motivation namin. We don't want teachers to shell out money para po kayo ay bumili ng high quality lesson plans. But we do understand that maybe it's easier for you. We acknowledge that maybe you do have a lot more on your plate. But we're trying our best as the central office and DepEd as a whole to provide these supports for free, because teachers deserve this and teachers deserve the best. So this hopefully eases the burden of lesson planning and designing activities for your day-to-day activities. Ayun po. So this is one big impact siguro ng itong mga reforms, of course, lesson planning and learning design. With our classroom assessment policy, let's also take a deeper look on formative assessment. Ito po kasi ay magiging isang malaking bahagi rin ng classroom assessment DepEd order na lalabas na po in the next few days. And we want to ensure that the main message here is that assessment should be happening throughout. It should be happening throughout. Hindi lang po siya sa dulo sa periodic exam. At alam na rin naman po natin ito, may seat works naman tayo, meron tayong quizzes, meron tayong mga written exams and all. But aside from that, we should also use our smaller scale non-graded or ungraded assessments to really check are our learners actually getting there? Nasa tamang progress na ba sila when it comes to reaching the competencies that we're targeting for them? Yeah, so can you go to the next slide, please? Ito yung isa sa mga makikita natin na framework sa policy, which is essentially showing that formative assessment should be happening, in between lessons when you go from one lesson to the next. Dahil po para malaman natin, can we proceed to the next lesson? Or do we need to reteach? Or do we need to pivot? Or do we need to, adjust? But at the same time, within the lesson also, you could also do and conduct formative assessments as well. Yeah. Next slide. So, a quick reflection siguro dito. If you could recall one of your lessons last quarter, last school year, itong 2025 to 2026, or if you could recall, how you were teaching, can you remember what types of assessments you were doing and how you actually checked if learners understood your lessons? And again, inviting you to use our chat box or comment section sa ating YouTube live link. Just curious, what types of assessments were you doing? Ayan, magbabasa tayo ng ilang mga comments. Short quizzes, ayun, nakikita natin. Sabi, short quizzes. Normally, evaluation, yeah. Performance tests. True or false. Mentimeter. Yep. Oral recitation. Asking higher order thinking skills, yeah. Normally, good teachers, ano natin dito, siguro ang metaphor po natin dito pag tayo ay effective na teacher, we assume the role of what we call the learning detective. Alam niyo po yung mga detective, di ba? Maghahanap ng ebidensya. Ebidensya kung sino may sala, ebidensya kung may kaso. But in this case, ebidensya naman ng something positive. Ebidensya kung natututo ba ang ating mga bata. Usually, ito yung 4 na types of evidence perhaps that you usually gather. As a learning detective, marami pong nagsabi ng mga recitation. Yan po yung isa we call verbal thinking. Or what learners say. Madali po ito malaman. You could do this individually. You can do this as a big group. You could do this if you're doing online classes, asking them to use the chat. They explain, they discuss. Malalaman nyo in discussions kung sino yung mga madalas magsalita, ano yung mga sinasabi nila. That's one way to do it. Of course, products also are a way when we create, small tasks, whether they make worksheets, they make outputs, drawings, works in progress. This is what they can tell us if learners are able to actually produce the outputs or the competencies based on the competencies that we've targeted for them. Pangatlo po, makikita rin natin to when we observe as a learning detective ang kanilang processes and behaviors. Kung kayo po ay science teacher, madalas nakikita nyo to kapag may experiments. Kaya na ba niyang gumamit ng ruler para mag-measure? Or kung kayo po ay PE teacher, maybe this is you assessing their form kapag sila ay, let's say, sasayaw or magbabasketball or kung ano pang mga sports. This is essentially seeing not just how in their process but also their engagement. Malalaman naman po natin, nakakaramdam naman tayo bilang teachers, alam natin kung masaya sila or sila ay pagod or sila ay engaged or disengaged. But lastly, this is the evidence which is very hard to get, which is invisible evidence. This is what learners think. Usually we just infer these. But there are also different ways to get them, asking them to create mental models. Mahilig po ako magpa-mind map. Minsan, it's just a blank sheet of paper, isusulat niyo yung concept sa gitna, and then papalagyan niyo ng mga iba-ibang mga concepts on, or kung nag-Freyer model po kayo, to some of you might be, literature or English or Filipino teachers, pwede rin po yun. You could also assess them through misconceptions. Tulad po nung nabanggit natin, nung na-try natin kanina sa quizzes, sa checks for understanding, one misconception, halimbawa sa learning design principles, is that it standardizes teaching and learning, but that's not actually the goal. It's really to help make the better decisions. So again, as formative, as educators who are learning detectives, this assessment policy is strengthening and ensuring that we integrate formative assessment better in our learning experiences, and hopefully through the 3-term school calendar, wherein we will have much more longer uninterrupted instructional time, and with the lesson planning, which is freeing up our creativity away from the usual boxes of a very rigid lesson plan format or lesson plan template, and also other reform policies, mabibigyan tayo ng mas malawak na oras as teachers para mag-gather ng formative assessment. Kasi po hindi joke, mahirap po ang formative assessment. I know as a teacher, I'm a fellow teacher as well. Minsan po maraming ginagawa, and you don't have time to really sit down and assess each quiz or each assessment. And so ang isa ko rin pong tip, try to do formative assessments as more of a habit. You don't try to do formative assessments that are very simple to check and simple to assess for you, para hindi nyo na po siya kailangang i-compute parate, hindi nyo na po siya kailangang daanan ng sobrang daming data. One of my favorite examples is in the cards, which is the stoplight model. Ito po, what I do, I give my learners 3 cards. A green, usually sticky notes po to kung meron po kayong mga sticky notes. Green, yellow, or red. Or kahit something else. Pwedeng thumbs up, thumbs down, pwedeng ganon. Bibigyan nyo sila ng cards. And then at the end of a lesson, maybe at the end of the day, you just ask them, okay, handa na ba tayong mag-proceed sa next lesson? Stoplight muna tayo. Check lang natin. Are you a red, a yellow, or a green? So, yung learners, pag nagtaas sila, pag gusto nilang sabihin, nagigets ko na po, sir, kaya ko nang sumunod, magtataas sila ng green. Pag medyo unsure pa ako, still have some questions, they'll raise a yellow. And then, medyo lost pa ako, teacher, hindi pa ako ready mag-proceed, do a red. Sometimes, you could do this first na maybe nakapikit ng mata yung mga students para hindi sila mahiya na magsabi na sila ay lost pa. But this gives you a very quick visual as a teacher. Can I proceed or do we need to reteach? And just get 1 or 2 of these checks for understanding that you can easily do in your class, and you'll be surprised that they become part of your daily routine, and the learners become more vocal and feel safer to share how they're feeling or what their progress is like. I'm sure marami pa kayong iba pang mga ganitong styles ng formative assessment, but again, this is just one example. It's also available, as you can see, as a card in the pedagogy cards that we've created for you. Ayun po. Yeah. Next slide. So that's formative assessment. Proceed tayo ngayon sa education in emergencies. We have a new policy again, like we said, education in emergencies. Kung naalala niyo po, stoplight rin siya, but green, yellow, orange, and red po siya. Ito yung mga decisions na gagawin ng schools kung paano sila magpapatuloy kapag nagsuspendong klase. Hinto ba? Red, wala talagang pasok, or orange. Ito ay opportunity lang para to do some light learning but still not extremely connected to the structure of the curriculum, or pwede ba tayong mas structured learning experiences like yellow or hinay, mga SLMs or online synchronous sessions, or tayo ba ay green na pwede na tayong pumasok sa ating mga paaralan. So itong policy na to, how it affects us as teachers, and when we suspend, ang dream po natin dito ay kapag nagsuspend ng LGU, ang school head, and maybe with the coordination of the division office or PSDS or some supervisors, the school head, as someone who knows the capability of the school and the context of the learners and the teachers at that particular situation, they can decide kung hinay ba, hinga, o hinto. And let's say nagsuspend, sinabi ni school head sa group chat natin, hinay muna tayo, kaya natin, mukhang maaraw naman, light lang na ulan, pwede tayong mag-SLMs. Ganun. So, hinay. Pag sinabi na po yun sa atin as teachers, Pwede nating i-cascade yun sa ating mga parents or sa ating mga students. Alam na po dapat nating lahat kung anong mangyayari. Kung anong mangyayari sa ating school kapag hinay, anong mangyayari sa ating school kapag hinga, anong mangyayari sa ating school kapag hinto. At ito pong mga decisions na to, expect this May when we oriented our school heads, expect this May na magkakaroon ng mga planning sessions, particularly sa LSCP or sa Learning Service Continuity Plan, kung saan mailalahad po doon per school kung anong learning experiences ang gagamitin natin sa bawat level. Next slide tayo, mapakita lang natin. Meron kaming mga recommendations kasi na kung kayo ay as a school, pipili kayo, ano ang hinay natin gagamitin? Magdi-digital ba tayo? Kaya ba natin mag-digital? Or print ba tayo? Print modules, SLMs? Or gagamit lang ba tayo ng DepEd TV kapag hinay? O pwede ba tayo mag-online synchronous class through MS Teams or through Zoom or through Facebook Messenger or Google Meet or something? Ayan. Kapag hinga, ano mga kailangan, ano mga pwede natin gawin? At pag hinto, ano mga pwede natin gawin? Ayan. So as teachers, maghanda lang po tayo dito, and we have to work together with our fellow teachers and our school heads to determine what is the most appropriate response for each level. And when the school year starts, the expectation is all schools should know what learning experience will be happening for each level. So that way, pre-position po sila, handa po tayo. Kapag nangyari na po yung suspension, automatic na po yun, kaya nang mag-communicate natin. At alam na ng teachers, alam na ng students, alam na ng parents, anong mangyayari. Yun. Last but not the least, in terms of how our teaching and learning will be updated by these reforms, AI has been a very big factor in updating our policies, as we know. Because AI is here. We surveyed 20,000 teachers, by the way, DepEd teachers. Thank you po to those. I think Region 2 ata yung pinakamaraming sumagot. So thank you for that. So when we ask teachers about how they use AI or how often they use AI for your work, more than half said that you use AI daily or weekly. And when we also asked what is the top use of AI, lesson planning. Lesson planning, preparing lessons, preparing materials. And I think it's important now that if we want our learners to develop AI literacy, gusto natin maging transparent sila, maging responsible sila, matutuhan nila ang ethics, kaya nilang mag-disclose ng AI. Ito po yung tinuturo natin sa research. Ito yung tinuturo natin sa citations and all. We have to practice it ourselves, teachers. Kailangan po talaga magsimula sa atin. And this is how we're approaching the new DepEd order on AI, integrating them into our learning systems reform policies by integrating them in assessments and also integrating them in lesson planning. Let's show a quick snapshot kung anong itsura niya for assessments. Gone are the days when we assign an essay to a learner na talagang true 100% learner's thinking and learner's output po yun. I'm sure when you ask your learners to create a reflection paper or to create an output, a presentation, there's some form of AI tool that's being used there. And ngayon po sa assessment policy, expect that there will be more detailed guidance here. Ano ang mga tasks na AI prohibited? For example, if you're assessing a particular skill that requires independent recall, talagang gusto natin malaman that they know they know this particular idea or concept really well, then you can tag it as AI prohibited. Yun. So these are some examples. May AI prohibited, AI limited, and AI allowed with documentation. Yeah. Makikita natin to sa upcoming DepEd order. But again, we have to ensure that if we are to utilize AI's benefits while also balancing it with mitigating the risks, it's important that we know how to use them really well and how to model them really well. Next slide naman, makikita natin yung kung paano ginagamit, paano natin gagamitin ang AI sa grading at sa paghanda ng assessments. Ito rin po, please, sana po wag natin gamitin ang AI sa pag lagay ng mga student records. So do not put, student data inside any AI tool. Don't use AI to make the decisions on final grades. Don't use AI to verify factual accuracy because sometimes they're also not factually accurate. You have to use your human judgment. So makita po again natin dito, what are some AI prohibited tasks, AI limited tasks, and AI allowed with documentation. I'll quickly cite lang ano ang favorite use case ko ng AI pagdating sa assessment. Ito yung pag-differentiate. Minsan mahirap po talaga ang differentiation eh. So maybe gumawa na kayo ng assessment task or gumawa na kayo ng quiz, and then you could brainstorm with an AI tool just to create different levels of difficulty or different levels of mastery. Again, it comes from you as a teacher. Sa inyo nang galing ang competency, sa inyo nang galing ang task. But then you brainstormed with an AI tool to help differentiate the task. And then lastly, in terms of AI, ito naman ay kung paano natin dapat gamitin ng AI sa lesson planning. Napakadami na pong tools na kaya mag-generate ng AI. And I would just like to highlight that if we just rely on AI to create our lesson plans, our lessons will feel robotic, it will feel didactic, meaning very teacher-centered, and it will feel very bland. May term po ngayon na tinatawag AI slop. Ang AI naman po, hindi niya kilala kung sino ang learners natin. Hindi nila kilala kung anong itsura ng ating classrooms. Hindi niya alam at wala siyang pake, wala siyang care or empathy. Yun po ang role natin bilang teachers. So if you were to use AI to create lessons, just make sure again to use your judgment. Trust your intuition. Trust your designer intuition as educators because you are the experts of your learners. You know what their motivations are, what their goals are, what interests them, what makes their minds spark, what makes their their passions fuel up. Alam po natin yan. If you were to design lessons better, please make sure to trust our judgment and use our teacher design lenses pagdating dito. Yeah. Before we end, just wanted to highlight just maybe one last slide. Alam ko po medyo we're running a bit late. Ayan, ang layunin natin dito sa mga policies na to, again, if we were to look at them and look at the essence of them, sana po makita natin na when all of these policies come together, when our school heads also help us implement these policies together, and the divisions, regions, central office make way for teaching and learning to be the core business of our teachers sa atin po sa DepEd, na sana po makita natin na kaya nating maging purposeful talaga sa pagtuturo. I think that's essentially why all of us joined DepEd, why we still continue to teach. Gusto talaga po natin magturo. Gusto nating humanap sa ating mga learners, maging present, check for understanding, adapt materials to the conditions of our learners, and make sure that we maximize whatever we can. So yun lang po. Sana po sa mga policies na to at makita natin kung ano ang mga magiging upgrade sa ating mga lessons. And again, trust your judgment. Teachers, you already know a lot. I do hope that these policies help you release your brilliance in how you design lessons and how you relate to your learners. Thank you very much. I'll pass it now to our Chief Rosalie Bongon, who will tell us how to practice these lesson planning ideas and integrate all of them into an activity. Go ahead, Chief.
Maraming salamat po, Director Gerson. Now I'll give you the instructions for our next self-facilitated activity. I'll make this quick po para makapag-lunch break na yung mga hindi pa nag-lunch break dyan. Although alam ko po yung iba, nag-working lunch na rin. So as previously mentioned, meron po tayong simplified format or framework in lesson planning. Yan. Tinatawag po natin itong ilaw where I is for intention, L for learning experience, A for assessment, and W for ways forward. Intention is where we indicate our curricular targets and expectations. Sa learning experience naman, this is the flow of the lesson where we integrate the learning design principles presented by Director Gerson a while back. And then we also have assessments, no, which happen at any point in the lesson to check for learners' understanding. And of course, to help us teachers in designing or in deciding our next instructional step. And then finally, we have the ways forward where we write our reflections that we can use to strategize moving forward to our next lesson. Now, ito po yung gagawin natin. Sa next slide, meron po tayo ditong QR code where you can access the framework or the template. We are going to bring all policies together in this activity. So we request that through this QR code, hoping po na nascan nyo na ang QR code that is currently shown on screen, you are going to create a new lesson plan or simply redesign an existing lesson plan using the ELAW framework. Okay? Yung intention, learning experience, assessment, and ways forward. So pwede kayong gumamit, I'll repeat, pwede kayo gumamit ng existing lesson plan nyo na and then ilapat nyo lang siya doon sa ELAW framework natin. Ang mahalaga po dito is that you get to explore the process and see what you like about it and how it can help you deliver your lesson more effectively. Now, teachers, in doing this self-facilitated activity, we want you to take this opportunity to work collaboratively with a small group. Yung mga kasama nyo po dyan sa viewing stations nyo, preferably those handling the same grade level and learning area. Just to echo what Director Gerson has said, hindi nyo po kailangang mag-isa sa pag-develop ng lesson plan. At ganito po ang gusto nating mangyari as we start the school year, to work collaboratively in developing lesson plans. Okay? So at this point, I assume na meron na kayong available worksheet sa inyong station. If none, pwede nyo po ma-access yung template through the link shown on your screen. Make sure to just download or make a copy of the template before editing. Okay? So, before you work on it, parang dun sa next slide natin, nandun yung may link pa rin tayo doon. Let me see yung next slide. Okay, there. Nandito po, pwede nating ma-access yung template. Before you work on this, mag-lunch muna po kayo, yung hindi pa nagla-lunch. And then you just have to come back afterwards to work on the lesson plan. Okay? Just make sure po that you come back for our next synchronous session before 2:45 this afternoon. Okay? Hoping po na before 2:45, completed na ang ating lesson design or redesign. Okay? So we will see you for the next synchronous session before 2:45 this afternoon. Thank you, everyone, and enjoy your lunch.